Hello. I'm sure I've just looked a bit confused out there. I just heard a horse. I'm sat in my office, I've got the window open, and I didn't think there were any horses nearby. How strange. There it is again. Oh, well, if you know that there are horses nearby and they're kind of in a field or whatever, then you need to let me know because otherwise I'll be confused about where they are. Now, I'm going to use this assembly because I want all of you to help me. I've done this before. I've used this story before, but there's a good reason for doing it because our assembly today is about our mental health, about how we do things for really good mental health. And pretty much, I've done all of the things in this assembly before. I've said them all before, but it's always really important to do the same things again and again sometimes. So I'm going to do that. And I think it's a good idea. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to see if I can do something that's really, really good for my mental health. And I'm going to list the things that make me really, really happy. So here we go. I had a yummy breakfast today. I had a really nice brown toast with, and I had it as a sandwich with peanut butter and banana. It was delicious. That's one. I asked Mr. Harris, our site maintenance officer, about the picture on the wall behind me. Can you see just there? I have that picture. Yep. Now that was on the opposite wall in my office, and I'd taken it down because I got a new picture. But I really missed that one. I really like having it up. It's a picture of some of our friends in Kenya, and it's about 5 years old now. But I really, really like it. So I asked Mr. Harris if he put it back up on the wall for me. So now I've got two pictures of our friends in Kenya up in my office, and I can stop and I can look and I can see those things. And the third thing I'm going to say that I'm really, really grateful for, that really made me happy yesterday. I came away from work and I thought, right, it's a nice day. What shall I do? So I got all my cycling gear. I went on my bike and I cycled out to Tarpley. I called in at the Spire in Tarpley and I bought a sandwich and a packet of crisps. And I went off on my bike ride and I found a little spot to sit. I was just near Beeston Castle. And it was a beautiful, beautiful evening. The sun was shining through the trees. It was quiet and I could hear the birds singing. And I sat and had a little picnic. It was really, really lovely. So I had my little cycling picnic. So I did something that involved looking at the things around me. Because when you look at the things around you right now, it's chucking it down with rain, really rainy. But I can think this is a good thing because the garden will be watered, or the birds will have puddles to drink from and they'll be able to wash. I sat in my office the other day and there was a couple of, I think they were pigeons or crows, and they were sat on the roof outside my office just having a bath in a puddle. It was great. So I'm making the most of all the things that are around me. Okay, right. And another one, just because Wincham, we love a good book. I've got such a good book at the moment. It's so, so good. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's by a lady called Jodie Taylor, and it's about historians, people who go back and study history by traveling in time and going back to watch things that happen. And honestly, the books are absolutely superb. Right. I want you now to think of 3 things that have happened to you. It can be tiny, tiny things, even if you're in a grump, because I've been in a grump this last couple of days, but thinking of those good things has helped me cheer up. So you have a think, even if you're in a grump, and see if you can pick something that has helped you cheer up. Go. Okay. Pause your video. If you want to, you can share them with your class, share them with your teacher. And I want your teacher to set a good example, and I would like your teacher to share 3 good things that has happened to them. Hopefully one of them is seeing you. And certainly this afternoon, actually all through today, I've seen loads of children, and I've been giving out my head teacher stickers, really important. So lots of good work that's gone on, lots of really interesting learning. So well done, guys. Right. I hope that thinking of something really good has really helped your mental health. I hope that it's made you feel good because there are some good things in your life. And I'm going to share a favourite book. And I share this, I think, every year in an assembly. And you've heard it before. And you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to say sorry for sharing one of my favourite stories, because at Wincham we love a good story. And it's really, really good to share something that is a bit different, or just actually enjoy it. So we're going to read How Full Is Your Bucket? Okay, now this is just such a cool book. I really, really love it, and I love the idea as well. So, How Full Is Your Bucket by Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer, and it was illustrated by Maury Manning. Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. I want to build with you, she said. Felix scowled. Well, go away. You're too little. Oh, that's not good. He's in a grump. I'm big. Well, stay back. You'll knock it over. She was all cross with Felix. I can be very careful. Go play with your baby toys, Anna. Look what Anna did. Threw her baby at the tower. Thwack. Grandpa! They both shouted. Grandpa shook his head. Felix, you've just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket? Invisible bucket? Sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather was joking. But the next morning when Felix woke up, there it was, a small grey bucket, floating above his head. Even the dog can see it. When Felix came down to breakfast, his mum was in a hurry. I've got a meeting this morning. It's almost time to go. Oh, Anna, sit still. And look at what's happened to poor Felix with the cereal. Felix slipped, and Choco Wheat scattered across the floor. Felix, yelled his mum. You should have used the stool to reach that. Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. Ha! Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip. Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus, scolded Mum. And with the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the Choco Wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin from his hand. Drip. Hey, look, Felix's new backpack. My baby brother's got one just like it. Drip. Psst, 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 Felix. Psst, psst. Drip. Watch out, shrimp. Drip. It was still morning and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped they would trip and fall. That's what it feels like when you've got an empty bucket. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class? Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. Drop, drop, plop, clink, drop. The Giganotosaurus Who Wanted a Pet by me, Felix. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. And when Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped, even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. Drop. Somebody left a note. It was his mum who left a note saying, love you, in his lunchbox. Team captains today, said the PE teacher, are Veronica and Felix. Drop. The art teacher said, nice cow. It's a dog. Oh, well, nice colours there, Felix. Cool laser ant backpack, Felix, said his friend. By afternoon, Felix's bucket was nearly full. At recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realised his grandpa was right. Everyone else had a bucket too. We all have our buckets. Have a look at the individual people's buckets. See what you notice. Might want to pause the video so you can have a look at each one. Drop, drop. So Felix went to help the teacher who had dropped his papers all over the floor, and it started to fill his bucket. Here's your baseball, catch. Oh, thanks, dude. Drop. So he passed the ball back to the other boy, and the other boy's bucket filled. Hi, I'm Felix. First day. Drop. Yes, I'm Amir. And Amir's bucket began to fill. And the strangest thing was that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own bucket. When Felix burst in the door after school, he shouted, "You were right, Grandpa, I do have a bucket. I understand how it works." Then he saw Anna's torn doll. "Bad dog," he almost scolded. But then he thought, dogs might have invisible buckets too. "Your doll will be okay, Anna," said Felix. "Mum will fix her. Until then, do you want to help me build the tallest building in the world with my blocks?" There we go. We all have our own bucket, and our bucket can help us or can be a way of showing how we are feeling. We might have a really full bucket, and if you have a full bucket, you're in a really good mood. Everything is wonderful. You've got all the happy things because your bucket contains all the happy feelings. And each time something bad happens or something that's not quite so good, your bucket might empty a little bit. So Felix dropped the cereal. The dog ate his breakfast. Each time his bucket emptied. My bucket emptied yesterday when I got stuck in traffic on the way to school, and I thought, I've got so many jobs to do and I'm stuck in traffic. So my bucket emptied a little bit. And it's really important that you try to refill your bucket, because it's not about somebody else making you feel better. You can make yourself feel better. So at the start of our assembly, everybody listed those 3 things that were really, really good in their lives. That's called your gratitudes, things that you're grateful for. That's a way of refilling your bucket, of paying attention to something. Yesterday, I went out on my bike for a bike ride and had my lovely picnic. And that's a way of refilling the bucket, because exercise makes you feel good. Exercise is proven to make you feel good. Talking to people can make you feel good as well. That's another way to do that, to connect to other people. What did Felix do that made him feel good? What did Felix do? Answer the question in class. Yeah, that's right. Felix was able to help other people. And every time Felix helped somebody, he felt good about it. And because if you are nice to people, then you feel nice. If you smile, it makes you happy. There's been scientific studies done to prove that if you smile at somebody, then you feel better yourself. Everybody smile. Don't pull silly faces, but have a smile. And it actually makes you feel good. So there's loads of things that we can do. Now, there's one other thing that I'm going to go and do. I'm going to stop the video actually to go and do this that makes me feel good. I'm going to sing. Singing makes you feel good. And you can sing your favorite songs and you can enjoy singing. It doesn't matter what you sound like, so long as you are enjoying it and doing your best to enjoy the music. So I'm going to go and sing, and I'm going to feel good while I'm singing. So I would like to hear about the things that you do during the day that help you to feel good. And I hope that by talking about our mental health, everybody can work towards that global goal of good health and well-being. And I hope by taking notice and seeing all the positive things, the good things in our lives, then everybody will feel a little bit better about things that are happening and just about being around. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys. Bye-bye.